When Q and I do our show, we don't typically talk about individual stories like this. A little kid got called names at school and a parent is suing. We talk about things that affect huge swaths of the population. We deal in data, right? So individual stories like this will give us some sort of aperture into the data to where we can understand what the real world implications are. But for the most part, we don't highlight stories like this. They're too plentiful, and we have a format that we think is more compelling than simply individual stories because these things are systemic. But this makes me think of a story that Q and I covered a long time ago, and we had a conversation. We ended up talking about this. Like, I wonder how the black people that voted for Donald Trump, or the people that know in their heart they're not racist, but they just made some sort of fiscal decision or some sort of whatever decision, whatever it was, because they thought Donald Trump was going to be the leader that we needed, and Joe Biden or Kamala Harris could not do the job. Okay. So we talked about these people. And these people's singular focus about whatever they espoused in terms of, this country's economic policy or foreign policy or whatever it was that they thought was the justification of their vote. They had to turn a blind eye to what we lived through during the first Trump administration, what Q and I have come to call the Trump effect. And the Trump effect is, Donald Trump is in office, so all of the people who are racist or have racist tendencies or ideas or thinking that once upon a time kept those ideas and thoughts in the home, in hushed conversations in the corners, now those people fill all the way up because Donald Trump is in office. And last time he got the popular vote, so they're super high on their horse now. And we have become a less decent country. We have moved significantly toward a collective moral bankruptcy as a nation. And this story gives insight into it because children learn from their parents. And this little kid enduring racism at school is something that started to, at least in my estimation, based on what it is I know to be true, has started to dissipate as I became an adult and into my adult years. And when Donald Trump got back in office, when Donald Trump got in office the first time, and then, of course, the second time, and this is documented, you can look at the increase in hate speech online. You can look at the increase in the number of incidents and hate crimes around the country. And there's a direct correlation, and I suspect causation, to the election of Donald Trump. And that indeed is the Trump effect. So for everyone that had their singular issue, that they know that they're not racist, they're not evil people, they know that in their hearts. They had to turn a blind eye to this. That man said, I will walk up to him and grab him by the P word, and you still voted for him. And his moral bankruptcy is now the moral bankruptcy of this country. And it is not my fault. I know whose fault it is. And that's why we're not friends.